I think it was Chris told me that you need to like not pay it off every time
Well, you always want a little bit. You want a little bit of money on there at all times. But if you have $1,000 limit, you definitely don't want $800 on there.
No, you can build your credit and pay it off every single month. You don't have to pay any interest. The credit report does not care whether or not you pay interest or
So
not.
say I bought $150 worth of.
That way you don't have to pay any
groceries
interest,
on it.
and you get to build your credit at the same time.
And then the due date that it says.
Yeah, that's always nice. I mean, that's the best way to roll.
It'll say like a minimum of like 26.
Oh yeah, you don't want to do the minimum. You want to, if you do that 150, you want to pay that off.
Yeah, don't minimum payments are.
Okay,
That's how they get you.
Yes,
When,
that's how they make money. It's because people are like, oh yeah, minimum payment, set it on auto, and it never gets paid over. So,
All I do is just pay it off, dude. Take it right now.
appreciate y'all coming. Really do. I mean, coming here optionally is awesome. Shows me you're really wanting to work on yourself, and I know we'll learn a lot from each other. And yeah, so let's get right into it. It's going to be a series of how to develop a 5-year plan, and I made a point to do it more pragmatic, something we can put on paper, something that we don't have to think into the future about first. So this is like a resource management, just seeing where our resources are and where we're at. So when we're talking about financial growth and personal growth, right now we're all pretty at the beginner level of our financial portfolio where we're trying to build wealth, all of us, me included. So first thing I think is important is to find out where you are, how much money you actually have. And we'll start with liquid net worth. And all that is how much cash you have, whether it's in the bank, in a mason jar, whatever. And you can also include like a stock portfolio that is not tied into a long-term investment like an IRA. Like if you just had a regular trading account with Robinhood and you had cryptocurrency and stuff like that, you could include that in your liquid net worth. So we'll come up with that number. And this isn't gonna be, you're not gonna find these numbers out in this short amount of time. We might get to a couple of them. And some of y'all will probably be able to identify that. And then you've got cash flow. So that means how much money that you can hold on to at the end of every month after all your bills are paid. And so you've got your monthly income minus your essential fixed expenses. So this is gonna be another important thing, is we are gonna find out what our necessary fixed expenses are. If you wonder what that is, that's something like your house payment, your rent. If you've got a car, that's a car payment. And then the categories, as far as like food, you'll have to probably track for a little while to determine what's essential and what is, discretionary. Because going out to eat at a restaurant is not essential. So finding that cash flow, right here, it's gonna be super important because that will, determine what you can do as far as, all right, how do I need to raise my income? How do I need to make more money? Or what can I do to put this aside to invest in other things, to start creating wealth? And then the biggest thing that we have that will increase the level of income we have, be able to help us towards our wealth progress is our time. So, and I know everybody, me included, I'm not any stranger to this. Most people have two things that happen to their time. They've got a leak, and that's what you do yourself. You allow your time to just kind of seep somewhere that is not productive. And you got people that will steal your time. And this can come in family, friends, strangers, all kinds of things. So you have to be, just like your money, you wouldn't allow your money that you have, whether it be in a wall safe or in the bank, to just kind of leak out. You'd be kind of concerned about that. You got to do the same thing with your time, because this is how we change how much money we have. So, and we're catered more towards finance, but some parts of finance are going to require personal growth, learning about money, learning about business, and maybe even increasing your skills so that you can either start a small business, or if business is not your thing, but you want to increase how much money you make, you're going to have to be more valuable to the market And so that could come in all kinds of things. Traditionally, schooling, you could go to the 4-year, which I think is honestly a waste of money for most people. You could go to the technical field. That's probably the biggest bang for your buck school-wise. Or you can get into a company that's growing, say, I'm gonna learn absolutely everything about this industry and become a value and asset to that company. So, where do we spend a lot of our time? We've got necessities that we have. Everybody's gotta sleep. How much you have to sleep depends on you, honestly. And you got your job. Everybody's got a job right now. We all work here. That's your first job. So you got leisure and fitness, and you've got learning. There's a spiritual component to this, but I wanted to, mainly all about finance right now. So, and then you've got certain times of the day: before work, during work, after work, and the weekends. And I'm not gonna say, that rest is not important. It is. Leisure is important. It's all important. But if your focus is on finance, you need to take your resources, your time, and gear it towards the thing you're trying to grow the most. So that is it in a nutshell. But then let's get into the first part of it. And this right here, I think Mike Andes went over at the conference. So Bailey, I'll catch you up real quick. This is Robert Kiyosaki's Quadrant. Most people start out as an employee. They're self-employed. That's kind of like in our industry, it's a chuck in a truck. Somebody that doesn't have employees. It's not systems centered, but they do work for themselves. Business owner, that would be kind of like what this is turning into. I could leave, get hit by a bus, this thing would still grow. It's also a valuable asset. And investor. So all three of these can be an investor at the same exact time. And you always want to be an investor because that money grows without you having to work. You got to learn about what to invest in though. So that's kind of what we'll be learning about together. I'm very new at this. Just started learning about stocks and things. But the main thing you have to have in order to invest is money. So, and over here, this was Mike Andes. He did this called the cash quadrant. Different ways we spend our money. Most people spend the majority of their money on
assets.
That's right, depreciating assets. That's like expensive food, just any food, clothing, vacations, things like that, fun stuff. Got cash that can just sit there, doesn't grow. Matter of fact, it decreases in value over time because of
Inflation.
Yep, that's right. You've got.
Yeah, Bailey, so that hit me. If you have, I've always been big on just keeping as many thousands of dollars as I can in my bank account, but not doing anything with it, not making it make me money. So yeah, your money goes down in value over time. So if you have like 10 grand in the bank and you're not doing anything with it, you're doing yourself a disservice by not trying to invest it wisely.
Yeah, because the average, we're in high inflationary times right now.
Yeah.
So they're talking, 7%. Depending on what you're doing, it could be even more. So basically, $1, what's a dollar? Pack of gum? I don't know.
Yeah, pack of 99 cent gum, yeah.
Yeah, cheap gum. Arizona sweet
5
tea?
years ago.
Alright, well, alright. So next year, at 7%, you're only gonna have that dollar that you had. Next year, that dollar, whatever you could buy, is going to be $1.07. So you can't even purchase it anymore. So it's the buying power. It's the silent tax.
Yeah, that's the tax on Arizona sweet tea right there.
Yeah,
They used to
man,
be-
that does not erase well.
Every
that
year
thing
that
away.
dollar goes in 99 cents.
But yeah, and then you.
The dollar goes in 92 cents.
Yep.
It will go down. More and more this depends on percentage of inflation.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
I get it. Yeah.
And then
Dollar
say-
worth. Yeah, dollar worth.
Yeah, dollar, the buying power. Yeah, you still have the same dollar. It's not going to
Yeah.
turn into nickels and
Not
dimes.
based on price.
But basically it will. You got a business. So I'm a big proponent of business. Some people it does not fit their personality. I love it. And you got appreciating assets. It's real estate. Some people will tell you gold. I wouldn't do that. you've got stocks, you can put it in the S&P 500 and get a great return on your investment over the course of your entire career and retire comfortably. So that would be, I would honestly, for most people, everyone's got a risk tolerance, right? Like, you can relate it to when you're younger, jumping off of cliffs into water. Some people are like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that at all. Some people are like, yeah, I'll jump off the small one. Some crazy sons of bitches will jump off a 70-foot cliff into a dam. They have no clue how deep it
Or
is.
some people climb to the top of a train trestle on the Savannah River and jump off that.
Exactly. And that's
Knowing people have died right
and
there.
that's an extremely high risk tolerance person. A little crazy.
I would have never done.
Yeah, me neither. I'll jump off like a 40, 50 foot, but
Yeah, I jumped off the bridge.
I'm decently risky, but not crazy. Just a little. But all right, so this is like a very safe way to do. Everybody in this room is under 26 years old, except for myself. So, does anybody currently have any investments in stocks, IRA, anything like that?
Yeah,
Crypto? Okay, cool.
yeah. But, my dad has stocks. I don't know if it was me.
Yep.
It was like thousands of invested in something.
Nice.
Stuff. I don't know.
That's awesome. So this is probably the safest way to reach $1 million, and without getting into inflation and what $1 million is going to be worth 30 years from now. Either way, $1 million. There's something called an IRA, and you can use it as a retirement vehicle for self-employed or people that don't have a 401k. So, easy to do. You can set it up through a bunch of platforms. I don't think Robinhood has one, but like M1 Finance, you can get an app and you can invest. So at 21 years old, and there's a couple different factors here. It's assuming a 9% growth rate, which the average is 10%, the S&P 500, and retirement age at 65. So that's leaving it in there for, more good. Pull up a chair, brother. You can grab that one.
So they would give you that much?
That's what your money would.
This is what your money would accumulate to.
Yeah, but how often would it, so just,
Monthly.
you just leave it in there?
No.
Yeah,
This
you
is
can't
an
touch it.
optional meeting.
And then over that.
We only have one
amount of
Monday
years,
morning
it would
meeting and this
Yep.
one optional meeting.
9% every year.
Yeah, so it's boring.
6:30.
Similar. Yeah, for sure.
But it's like
6:40.
It's
Yeah,
got its
just one
benefits
point
because
there.
the IRA grows each year tax-free. You pay the taxes after. So you get to use compound interest. You save, a little bit of money as far as tax, and you get to enjoy a little bit more growth because that money is not getting taxed every year.
So does that 1,013,000 get taxed?
Yes,
So,
when you pull it out.
yeah, so if that's what it is, the tax is coming off that green number.
Yes,
Yeah.
at the end.
How much tax would they take on?
That's a very good question.
But either way, Matt, you turned, whatever your initial investment is into.
I would probably say it's gonna be. We can look up put that down. Let's find that. Let's find that rate. I would say it's gonna be an income tax. There might be a special tax bracket for retirement funds. I don't know that answer, but let's find that out. I would imagine it's gonna be somewhere between 25 and 35%.
Matt, but yeah, you're only putting in 80 grand and that catapults to $1 million after 44 years.
Yeah, it's pretty.
What kind of, thing is it called?
An IRA.
IRA?
Yep. And I really like M1 Finance as the app. It's very convenient. You can set it and forget it, but it also, you can pull it up and see what's going on very well. And I'll show you mine too. Not very impressive, but I have started it. Probably gonna just do it for my kids, because as you'll see. You'll see the diminishing returns if you wait 10 years, 14 years, whatever.
Yeah.
So at 21, you're 20, how old are you?
23.
23, you think? How old are you?
Yeah.
21, very nice. How old are you?
25.
You're so old. At 21, so that's, good bit of the folks in the room. $150, you said it's 80K?
79,000, not even 80 grand.
Not even $80,000. So you put 150 bucks in your stomach and you don't even know about it. You know.
A month, yeah.
Yeah. Why y'all put it in the air? So $150 a month. That's it. Set it and forget it. Not even $80,000 invested over the course of 44 years, and you get $1 million.
Wait, that's invested every month, not every week?
150 is every month, once a month.
I thought it was a week.
No, once a month. You do it every week, and you're gonna have about $3 million. Yeah, because all right, so an IRA has got a maximum contribution every month of 500 bucks, and you don't have to do. If you catch up, like if you get a tax return, you can say, okay, I'm gonna put it in the IRA. The max that you can put in it a year is $6,000. So 500 bucks a month is the max, 6,000 for the year.
But they'll match you that 500 bucks?
No, it's not a match deal. It's not like a 401k. It is the IRA is set up for self-employed folks or people that don't have 401ks.
Right.
So yeah, this $80,000 investment. So you're only at, you're at 33, not even 33% of the full match, and you're gonna get $1 million. If you started right here doing the max at 500 bucks a month, I think it's close to, I don't have the calculator with me, but I think it's close to $3 million. But I just want to do something that's very like $150. I mean, it gets blown like that.
Right.
So, but yeah, 150. If you're 21, $1 million. You wait 5 more years. You're 26. Still not terrible. That same 150 investment will only net you about 64% of that million. So 640,000. To get that million, you're gonna have to make it 250 bucks a month. Still not bad. It's a pretty good deal. You wait another 4 years till you're 30. That $150 a month now only nets you 44%. So you've got $441,000. You would have to put $350 a month to get that same million. Now, if you're old, like myself, you waited, you missed the train, that 150, it's only gonna get you 27%, $274,000. I'd have to put in my max contribution and then play catch up. There's little rules. Once you hit 50, they allow you to add another 1,000 or 2,000 or something like that.
A year?
Yeah, so you can catch up. So I would still be able to get to $1 million at 35, but I'd have to max it out, and then once I turn 50, in 15 years, add a little bit each year. So this is like very super safe. It just runs the S&P 500, the top 500 companies in America. Not to say that shit couldn't happen, but in a 40-something year time span, the market's gonna go like this. And it's gonna average about 9 to 10%. I mean, basically if you bet on this, you're betting that America will still be America when you retire. Could it happen? Could it die? Of course. But I don't think it's going to.
It'll be 50 with a 15-year-old.
Huh?
It'll be 50 with a 15-year-old.
I will be 50 with a 15-year-old. That's why I gotta stay in shape. Because that guy's gonna want to fight me.
So this is all about leaving it in there? For
Yes.
a long
Yeah,
run?
you can't.
Don't, if you touch it, you'll get penalized.
Yeah, that's why you gotta start early.
Yes.
Hey, so
Compounding interest is the magic here. So you get 9% every year. So those returns over the course of it, for instance, this is $80,000. It's going to turn into $1 million.
Yeah.
So that's, what is that? 5, 10, over 10 times the money. About 12 times. So that 1,200%?
So where is this money being put?
In an IRA.
Okay.
Yep, and so you can set it up. There's you got a bunch of trading apps, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them have them. M1 Finance is probably the most visually aesthetic. I like it. It's easy. You can set your monthly and forget it, like an automatic payment. And you can even go in there and like I've got mine in Vanguard ETFs. So you can go in there and you put your age and it'll say, all right, pick your retirement year. It's got an ETF for your retirement year. So it'll go like higher risk, which is not, in an IRA, it's not gonna be super risky. But it'll be a little bit higher risk, so you might have like some robotics ETFs in there, something that's like going to be a little bit of a growth stock. And then as you get closer to retirement, it puts your money into less risky investments. So super automated, you know, $150 a month, you know, you can't really go wrong with it. And then your retirement year, you can play with a calculator to kind of figure out, okay, like, here's my goal. This is just a, you know, if you did this, if you maxed it out between here and here, you're gonna have multiple millions, not just one. Yep, and maxing it out is $500 a month. So, does anybody have any questions about this? Is it?
Yeah, so if I put in more a month, I would get just a bigger return.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Or I would get a million faster.
Yeah, it'll get there faster, but the big thing here is you're not pulling it out until you're 65.
Okay.
Now you can decide to put your retirement age at 55, but it just decreases that power of compound interest. That last 10 years is really where it compounds. So that's why me at 35, I lost the power of the compounding interest. I'd have to wait until I was 75 to get the same.
I really could retire at 55 then
With the million, yeah. So yeah, we could, if you raise this, and then your target was 55, I mean, you still got, well, that's 34 years. That's
and I'm 20.
So that
Yeah.
retirement money, is that like a yearly thing, or is that just like
Well,
one
now-
full payout?
It's gonna pay you out. I recommend you put that into, you know, most people when they retire, they put it into a fund that they draw interest off the principal. They don't touch the principal.
Okay.
So like, for instance, at 5%, and I could be wrong here, I'm sure somebody will comment, at 5% return, you're getting $50,000 a year. And that principal stays. If you wanted to die and leave that to your family, you lived off of $50,000 a year, and you had $1 million. Now, if you want to get buck wild, and you take that $1 million, you go party with it. But that's up to you.
I know, I think
Yeah.
somebody who did, they put theirs in like some crazy safe in like New York, like,
Safe.
well, they're from New York, but like, it's like a security lockbox type deal. Like,
Yeah, like in a bank, they got a
Yeah,
safety deposit box.
yeah, exactly.
You could. I wouldn't, because you could just put it into a very safe dividend investment, and you'll get, like I said, 4 to 5% interest every year, and that principal stays.
And the idea of the IRA is a good idea because if we go through a Great Depression again, they can't touch this money. It's like a life insurance policy technically.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's gonna touch the money. It's protected.
Because that's like how most big businesses, they collapsed, like how you say, cash and carry and stuff like that. Because we went through the Great Depression, or I think it's Great Depression. A bunch of companies went to collapsing. Publix, Walmart, Walt Disney, they all invested in IRAs or life insurance policies for their companies. That's why they stood up over the.
That's cool.
Speaking of that, Gold Gym went out of business.
So right here.
Max something,
That is right here.
Max Fitness.
Gold? You said gold?
The Gold Gym.
We got time to start on liquid assets.
I think so. What time is it?
We got 6 minutes, 5 minutes.
All right, yeah. This is the first part of it. Just figuring out what you got is pretty damn important. Because, you know, like I was saying, getting into being an investor, purchasing appreciating assets, it's really cool, man. It's, you know, me personally, I'm saving up, and I'll probably put it into an ETF or something as I'm saving, so I'll grow. And I want to get into real estate. So I'm learning right now. All the Audible books, podcasts are like mobile home park investing, foreclosure investing, and then the traditional, you know, single family unit. I don't know where I'm going to go with it, but I'm learning. And I know it's going to take about a year or two to get my initial investment. So while I'm doing that, I'm learning about real estate. I'm going to go talk to people that are doing it and stuff like that. But yeah, finding out what you have, and then kind of setting a goal for like, okay, this is going to be, if you want to start getting into being an investor and putting your money in appreciating assets for retirement and things like that, because that's something that you can add to. Like if you wanted to start with $150 a month for your IRA, and then also say, well, real estate kind of excites me, or, you know, getting into crypto or something like that, that excites you too. That means you're investing, number one, very safely, first, that's your foundation. And then number two, you're also investing in other things, that can help your portfolio. But yeah, getting your liquid net worth, so, you know, you might, like I would need to look at my bank account, and I would basically know my net worth, but, what you would need to do, we're gonna take, okay?
Liquid because Matthew might own a Chevy truck, but that's not liquid asset.
Right, yeah, we're not gonna include houses either, cause that's, depending on, right now, might as well be liquid, it'll sell tomorrow. But,
Is that just the cash you have, or?
Yeah.
yep, cash or any investments that are not long-term, like an IRA. Like if you have like a crypto, his account, he can pull that out in his bank account right now, 2 seconds.
Yeah, I'm crypto.
Yeah, so that's liquid, so if you got anything in a day trading account, or not day trading, just a regular trading account, that would count any amount in your bank account, and if you keep cash, like, stored somewhere.
So debt for me, is that just gonna be my student loans and my credit cards, or is that gonna be my house?
No, so we're not gonna take your house, we're gonna do non-appreciating debt. So traditionally, your net worth, you would take out everything that you owe, but your house is gonna be an appreciating asset. So right now, we're just gonna take how much cash you have, subtract any credit card debt, student loans, and, you know, that's basically it.
All I have student loans and credit cards.
Heck yeah. Anybody wanna share? Where
Yeah,
you're
well,
at?
my credit cards and student loans is, 8,000, and I have that pretty much in liquid net.
Okay,
I have more than that, but I'm
Yep.
waiting on it to come in.
yeah, so you might have a couple thousand,
Over,
net,
yeah.
in liquid
And which,
net.
if you say that doesn't count, then technically nothing.
What do you mean?
Or if I thought you said minus student loans, minus credit cards.
Yeah, you gotta take your cash and
Oh, okay, I thought you said we weren't using that, I was like, oh shit, what other kind of debt do you have?
Yeah, you
I
take,
got confused there.
you take your cash, subtract your student loans and credit card debt, basically.
Well, if we're talking credit card debt or loans,
Yeah, or loans,
see what I
not
have,
house loans. though.
what I have saved up is about 3,000, and that's in stocks. So it could go up or drop, you know, so.
Yeah.
3,000 was saved that I'm slowly putting in my truck. And I have, $12,400 in debt.
12,400 debt. All right, so you got a negative liquid net worth about 9,000.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely, and like when you put the thing that's,
Well, I'm up 786.
Okay.
700.
this is my monthly expense.
Oh, shit, 4611.
Okay.
And then
Minus 880, almost paid off.
So you got 493.
Minus 780.
Yeah, discretionary income.
So that means it'll be like, yeah, discretionary for sure, but it'll be like what? 120,
Yeah, somewhere around there.
about 120.
130 or about 120.
So I literally type, to be exact.
Cool, man. So like that's the beginning, right? You got, you know, if you want a goal of saying, you know, I'll see what I got each month, and I want to start doing this. If that's your thing, like Chris just said, he has a discretionary income after all his bills of like $490 a month. So he could start this. He could continue his crypto. He could. There's several different things he could put in and decide, okay, this is what I'm going to invest. This is what I'm going to invest in. So that's the biggest thing of what to find your cash flow is to how much money you have to start an investment. Because most of us don't invest, or if we do, it's very little.
Well, let's come back next week with your cash flow. Or over the weekend, let's try and come up with our monthly cash flow, so then next Thursday we can, let's do 620, so we get 30 minutes uninterrupted and 40 minutes, you know, of actual time to go over this.
That's cool.
That's how it'll show up, 620.
Yep. And I've
Yeah,
got,
and if, I'm not trying to be rude, but if y'all wanna come to this, make sure you're here on time, cause if you're not here for the start, you're gonna miss some of the info. And then, I'll try and tell everyone, if you don't plan on coming, don't come before 6:50. So that way we have 30 uninterrupted minutes.
yeah, or if they do, they can just
Yeah,
go
yeah.
in there. Well, cool. And this was
But yeah, Chris,
got the pamphlet?
Gabe, if y'all wanna hop in
This
next
is all
week,
yours.
figure out how much cash you have versus how much credit card, loan debt you have, and find the difference. And then this weekend, try and come up with your monthly income minus, fixed expenses, meaning rent, car note, car insurance.
Yeah,
cell
utilities.
phone. Yeah, pretty much what you have to spend just to keep going, not going out to eat, all that stuff.
And a good way, for me anyways, what I like to do, like we can start in January, and I'll show y'all how to do it if you don't know how. Go to your bank account, and you can get a CSV file. It'll basically put it to Excel, and you can categorize it, like, you know, rent, food, whatever. And you can then organize the category. So all your transactions will say food, have all your food transactions, have all your, you know, whatever, and get your essentials. And then you can label them non-essential too. So, because we all I spend way more money than I need to spend than if I said, okay, this is essentials, there'd be a difference. And that's where we need to, you know, cut the fat so that we can invest in our future. But yeah, I'll show it to you. I was trying to share y'all a Google Doc, then I realized that I'm sharing one document. And there's a template for the budget and personal finance. I gotta find a way to just send it individually, so that we can track what we have. But yeah, anybody got anything before we head on out?
So you talked about the DA and bids and cash and
Yeah, that was from the conference. That was his Mike Andy's quadrant there, and then this is Kiyosaki's quadrant.
Okay, so your net worth or what you have saved technically.
Yep. Or invested in a.
Well, liquid net worth is different than net worth, because my net worth could be my house, my mountain bike, my cash, all that.
10% of this business.
Yeah, so liquid net worth is money that you have at your fingertips.
Yep. And that's what's gonna, you know, that's what's important.
Not including debt.
You gotta subtract the debt.
Yeah.
So really, I've got $700.
So technically,
You
I
won't be
got
able to touch
negative.
the IRA.
I got negative
Your
8,000.
input, right?
Yeah,
Well, I've got 700, that's it, so.
That's correct.
And your number in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My phone's recording. I was first
You
one.
do.
I do. Yeah, I just started this year.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll show it to you. Yeah, I'll show it to you right now.
Hey, we went to